Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to talk to Phillip Howard, a guitarist here in Los Angeles, and we're going to look at not only a really cool guitar, a really cool 80s guitar from his collection, but we're also going to check out a vintage car that he has spent the last 2 years painstakingly restoring. I think if anybody's out there and you like guitars and cool cars, you're really going to dig this. Let's check it out. All right, so man, dude, thanks a ton for coming out here, man, and bringing your car out here. So, obviously, really cool car, but the coolest thing about this is that you restored this totally yourself, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I started out on this car in 2015 when I bought it. It hadn't moved in at least 30, 35 years. The last registration tag on it was from 1982, so it never saw the last wave of hair metal or any of that. But I took it home, ripped it all apart, sent out the body for sandblasting and chrome and paint and all of that stuff, and I put everything back together. And now it runs and drives, and it's going to be in its first show on June 10th.
So, okay, so for starters, this is a Volvo.
It is. It's a 1965 Volvo P1800S coupe, and I added a little bit of my own flair to it. I liked the car's actually from 1961 to 1964 better, but I couldn't find one.
Okay.
So I bought a 65 and just put the little things on it, like the front and rear bumpers and the air intake scoop and different parts on it from earlier cars.
So, I mean, yeah, I've never seen one of these before, like in person.
No, they're pretty rare.
How rare are these, really?
They only made about 40,000 of them total. That includes 8,000 wagons that they made in 1972 and 1973. So about 38,000 coupes.
Okay.
Most of those have rusted away.
That's what I was going to say. I know a lot of these, especially European cars, had really terrible... there was like basically zero rust proofing back then.
Is
that what happens to the cars typically? Or?
Yeah, pretty much, especially with these, because they were, the bodies were stamped and made in Scotland and assembled by Jensen for the first 6,000 of them. And they just had horrible build quality, and they just pretty much rusted from every possible point. But I got lucky with this one. It was a pretty solid car. It was originally bought in Seattle and immediately driven down here by the first owner, who I've actually talked to on the phone about this car, trying to get a little bit of history on it. And so it's pretty much been a California car its entire life.
So what, in terms of the restoration, what was the most challenging thing? Was there any like parts that were like impossible to find, anything like that?
No, these cars actually, for being as rare as they are, have a really good following, and they have a lot of the spare parts are available, so I can get pretty much whatever I need. There were a few parts that were a little expensive, like the cowl intake. That little scoop was very hard to find. They only made 8,000 of those for the first 8,000 cars. And I like that one better than the one that originally came on mine, so I had to hunt one of those down on eBay.
Are these the original wheels?
They're not the original wheels.
Okay.
These are, wire wheels were an option in period, but they were pretty much dealer options. Not a lot of people got them. I still have the original steel wheels back at home, but I like the look of these wire wheels better.
Oh yeah, these look great, yeah. It gives it a nice James Bond vibe, I think.
That's kind of what I was going for, was a little more upscale European class to it. This car, when it was new, retailed for about $4,000.
Okay.
An equivalent period Aston Martin or Ferrari was $10,000.
Wow, okay.
So this was less than half the price, but it's got all the looks.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make it a little more.
Yeah. Is this a fast car?
It is not. Okay. This is a woefully underpowered car for its appearance. Okay. It has a 1.8 liter inline four with dual SU carbs. that produces about 100 to 115 horsepower.
Okay. So I know one thing you mentioned was the interior of the car. You did a lot of that work yourself, right?
I did all of the work on the interior myself. The only things that I didn't do on this car was the engine rebuild, because I wanted it done right, because I knew I would screw something up. The paint and the chrome, and that was it. Everything else, especially the interior, was all me. I did everything by hand.
So tell me about the back seat setup. That's pretty unique, right?
The back seat, it's still there, but I decided to put custom built luggage into it, which, like I said, with the wheels, I wanted to give it a more up-class feel. The luggage never originally came with these kind of cars because they were so cheap, but they did come in Ferraris and Aston Martins and Mercedes and those sort of cars, the upscale ones. So I built my own custom luggage from scratch. Started out, built a frame, skinned them, put the hardware in, and sewed everything up. And I hand hammered every single nail into those pieces of luggage, and they were just, that was time consuming, but it was well worth it. I liked the look, I designed them, so it's for me, really.
You said the car is going to be at a show coming up pretty soon, right? Tell me about that.
It's going to be in the San Marino Motor Classic out at Lacey Park in San Marino.
Okay.
Pretty much right by Pasadena, like South Pasadena. And that's June 10th this year.
Cool. I'll put some links in the video description for that.
Perfect.
Cool. So, the other thing we're going to talk about today is you brought a guitar with you, right?
I did.
Yeah. So let's check that out. So where did you find this exactly?
I found this on eBay, actually. Like most things I buy.
Absolutely.
They're on the
Some of
internet.
my favorite guitars I got on eBay.
Yeah, this is a 1980s something, Yakima, or however you want to decide to pronounce that, Death Dagger. I'm assuming it's a copy from some off-brand that I have not been able to find anything about. But it is a copy of the basic shape of an Explorer, but the actual shape was first done by Hondo, which had a fairly decent following in the 80s, but obviously not as big as Gibson and Fender. It was kind of an off-brand, and this is the off-brand of the off-brand.
So we've got a rosewood fretboard with 24 frets, looks like, a single humbucker, vintage style trim. I guess that's just a single volume knob, right?
That's it, yeah.
Any idea what the body is made out of? Maybe basswood, maybe?
It could be. It's actually decently light for the size that it is. So it can't be something too heavy, but it is.
And this is perfect for playing all of your experimental jazz stuff on.
Exactly, that's why they made it this shape.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks a ton for coming out and bringing the car and the guitar. It was awesome to check out both of them. And good luck at the show coming up.
Thanks.
All right, guys, there you go. Big shout out to Phillip Howard for letting us check out the car and the guitar. And guys, let me ask you, what did you think of this video format? This is the first time I've done one of these where it's kind of combining a couple of different things. But if you'd like to see more of these, definitely let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll talk to you soon.